Chapter 3994. Today, it's not up to you. One of the 10 winged angels said coldly. An angelic divine sword appeared on his body. Dazzling holy light spread out in all directions, emitting a powerful aura. In the surroundings, the other angel clan geniuses continuously retreated, looking at this person with reverence. Without a doubt, this angelic divine sword was a great killing weapon. When activated by this 10-winged angel, its power was extremely terrifying. The only one who could still stand was another 10-winged angel, a female angel. A crown appeared on her head. It was the angel crown. This crown was also incomparably terrifying, allowing her to block the aura of the angelic divine sword. In Ling Yue's hand, the elf king Bao trembled. The blood on it seemed to be flowing. There was also a powerful aura that blocked the aura of the angelic divine sword. The male 10-winged angel's eyes were cold as he suddenly took a step forward. Boom! The earth rumbled as sword chi exploded. The stalemate was broken. Swoosh! Ling Yue made her move. An arrow pierced through the void, bringing with it a void passage as it shot towards the male 10-winged angel. Swoosh! Sensing the aura, the male 10-winged angel also made his move. The angelic divine sword turned into a resplendent sword light as it slashed out, accurately slashing at the arrow shot by Ling Yue. Boom! It was as if a star had exploded, erupting with a dazzling divine light. Following that, the two figures retreated. In this move, the two of them were evenly matched. In the distance, Lu Ming's expression was somewhat grave. After Ling Yue and the male 10-winged angel used their killing weapons, the power they unleashed reached the 9th level of the Divine Emperor realm. Lu Ming could only reach this level by using the mysterious ice rod. Ling Yue and the male 10-winged angel retreated, and the female 10-winged angel stepped forward. The angel crown on her head emitted a dazzling holy light. This holy light transformed into a huge palm print that slapped down towards Ling Yue. Ling Yue had just exchanged a move with the male 10-winged angel and had yet to recover. At this moment, she could only use all her strength to pull the bloodied attacking king's bow and shoot out another arrow. This arrow collided with the holy light palm print, but this time, Ling Yue's hasty attack was unable to completely block the holy light palm print. She was blasted backwards by the holy light palm print and crashed into the cliff, emitting a violent boom. It was unknown what material this cliff was made of, but it was extremely hard. Even so, there were still a few cracks on the cliff that were 10,000 meters long. Ling Yue's face paled as she spat out a mouthful of blood. Prince Hua Shui couldn't help but exclaim. This exclamation immediately alarmed the angels. Who is it? How dare you spy on the angels? Get out here. A few cold shouts rang out, and then a few voices rushed towards Lu Ming and the others like lightning. Lu Ming pursed his lips. Now, he had no choice but to make a move. However, Lu Ming had already planned to make a move, so it was impossible for him to just stand by and watch. After getting along with each other for a period of time, excluding that inexplicable engagement, they could be considered friends. Lu Ming would not sit by and watch his friends be in danger and not make a move. Just now, he was only thinking about how to make a move. Now, there was no need to think. You stay here and don't move. Leave the rest to me. Lu Ming sent a sound transmission to Hua Shui. Although Hua Shui's cultivation wasn't weak, having the cultivation of the 4th Divine Emperor layer, and her battle prowess was stronger than her cultivation, at least half of the angels were not weaker than Hua Shui, or even stronger than her. If she went out, she wouldn't be able to help at all. After saying that, Lu Ming directly rushed out. As soon as he rushed out, everyone saw Lu Ming. Ling Yue was the first to cry out in alarm. She was clearly very surprised to meet Lu Ming here. It's him, it's Mu Yun. It's the little boy who challenged Gabbert. He's overestimating himself. He surprisingly dared walk into a trap. The angels were also surprised. They hadn't thought that Lu Ming would dare to rush out on his own. But immediately after, they released ice-cold murderous intent. In particular, the few elites of the angel clan who had taken the lead were emitting cold murderous intent. They waved their palms and a few terrifying sword gleams charged toward Lu Ming. There were 3 angels who attacked Lu Ming. They were all six-winged angels, but their cultivation levels weren't weak. They had the strength of the fourth godly emperor layer. Because they were six-winged angels, they had the strength of the fifth godly emperor layer. However, Lu Ming didn't care about that. Boom. Lu Ming had already activated his battle incantation to increase his battle prowess by 6 times. As he was rushing out, his battle prowess had already increased by 6 times. He threw a few punches at the six-winged angels. His powerful punches destroyed the sword lights released by the six-winged angels. His punches didn't stop and continued bombarding the 3 six-winged angels. The 3 six-winged angels gave horrible shrieks and their bodies exploded. They died on the spot. The angels were astonished. Lu Ming's battle prowess had exceeded their expectations. As for Lu Ming, he didn't stop. He was already rushing towards the angels. Pooh, pooh. The Zephyr Pearl appeared in his hand. A strong wind swept out and enveloped all the angels. The angels who were closest to Lu Ming didn't have time to dodge. They gave horrible shrieks and died in the strong wind. The strong wind continued blowing. It seemed like it was going to engulf all the angels. The other angels' expressions changed drastically. They kept retreating. "Little boy, don't you dare!" shouted the 10-winged angel icily. The angel crown on her head shone and turned into a sword of holy light. There was a rumbling sound. The strong wind was cut in half by the holy light. It turned into energy and dissipated. Then, the holy light from the angel crown condensed into a pair of wings. The wings flashed and the 10-winged angel quickly approached Lu Ming. Another holy light sword slashed towards Lu Ming. Her angel crown was filled with boundless holy light. That holy light could transform into any kind of attack. The holy light sword slashed through the sky. It seemed like the sky had been cut in half. Lu Ming had the feeling that it would be difficult to resist. That was normal because that sword had the strength of the 9th godly emperor layer. Even with the Zephyr Pearl, Lu Ming couldn't resist it. He could only use the Xianbing rod. It wasn't the time to hide his strength. Lu Ming didn't hesitate to take out the Xianbing rod. Forbidden strength poured into the Xianbing rod. Boom! The obsidian staff quickly grew in size and blasted out. The void turned into chaos as it collided with the sword of holy light. There was an earth-shattering explosion. The sky seemed to be divided into 2 worlds. On one side, it was bone-chilling cold. The air was frozen. On the other side, it was a world of holy light. It was dazzling. Then, Lu Ming and the 10-winged angel retreated. How is that possible? The hearts of the other angels trembled violently. Chapter 3995. The hearts of the other angels were greatly shaken. Lu Ming could actually fight against a female 10-winged angel. This was too shocking. After all, Lu Ming only had the strength of the first godly emperor layer. Even if he had a terrifying weapon, he shouldn't be able to defeat a female 10-winged angel. After all, a female 10-winged angel's cultivation level was higher. Logically speaking, the higher one's cultivation was, the more one would be able to unleash the power of such a great killing weapon, and the more powerful it would be. Ling Yuwei had relied on the strength of the second godly emperor layer to control the King Elf Bao. That was already terrifying. It could only be said that Ling Yuwei's talent was too high. She was too compatible with the King Elf Bao. Lu Ming only had the strength of the first godly emperor layer. How could he release such power? There were only 2 explanations. One was that Lu Ming's talent was too high. The other was that Lu Ming's weapon was too high level. It was even more mysterious and unfathomable. They were more inclined to the second possibility. The level of the killer weapon that Lu Ming controlled was too high. The eyes of many angels were filled with greed. Die! Lu Ming retreated and waved his Xianbing staff again. His staff was like a mountain, oppressing his opponent. In the surroundings, the other angels kept retreating. That was a collision between cultivators of the 9th godly emperor layer. They couldn't get involved. You're just a cultivator of the first godly emperor layer. Even if you have a treasure, let's see how many attacks you can make, shouted the female 10-winged angel coldly. Her holy light became even more dazzling. She poured all her holy light into her crown. This time, The holy light turned into an angel's sword and slashed towards Lu Ming. The Xianbing staff and the angel's sword collided again. Waves of qi rolled out in all directions. While Lu Ming and the female ten-winged angel were fighting, Ling Yue and the male ten-winged angel were also fighting. The two of them were also using their weapons. The scene was terrifying. The four young geniuses were all controlling their weapons. They were extremely focused. In the blink of an eye, they had already exchanged 5 or 6 attacks. Lu Ming's breathing became rapid. Controlling the Xianbing staff consumed an astonishing amount of energy. Even though he had a forbidden body, he couldn't bear it. However, the expressions of the two ten-winged angels were somewhat gloomy. Using their weapons like that was extremely taxing on them. They couldn't bear it anymore. Die! The two angel race prodigies were enraged. Their essence, qi, and spirit were highly concentrated as they unleashed their most powerful attacks. They pushed their killing weapons to the limit. Lu Ming had no choice but to treat it seriously. There was a steady stream of energy gushing out of every cell in his body and into the Bingxian rod. The Bingxian rod vibrated and an ancient aura exuded from it. Lu Ming then blasted it out. The two of them exchanged another blow. At this moment, the world lost its sound. The earth rumbled, and terrifying cracks were torn open. It was not just Lu Ming and the female ten-winged angel. The other two killer weapons were also having a showdown. But at this moment, Lu Ming's expression changed. He realized that the Xianbing staff in his hand was shaking non-stop. He couldn't hold it anymore. What's going on? Lu Ming was surprised, but in the next moment he realized that the angel crown on the head of the female ten-winged angel was also shaking violently. Not only that, Ling Yue's blood elf royal bow and the male ten-winged angel's angel divine sword were also trembling violently. Swoosh! In the next moment, the Xianbing staff actually broke free from Lu Ming's control and flew out. At the same time, the other three people's weapons also flew into the sky. A roar spread in all directions. A huge figure actually appeared within the Xianbing staff. This was a giant ape. Its entire body was snow-white. It looked like a snow ape. The snow ape held a popsicle in its hand and swept it in all directions. A figure also appeared on Ling Yue's blood elf royal bow. It was an elf king with a crown. He held a war bow in his hand and wanted to shoot into the sky. As for the weapons in the hands of the two ten-winged angels, a figure also appeared. They were two powerful angels. Behind these two angels, there were 10 wings. Holy light soared into the sky. Boom, 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 boom. 4 powerful figures collided in the sky. They were in a stalemate. This, Lu Ming's eyes revealed a hint of shock. He was very familiar with this scene. He had seen it before. Once in the Xianbing Life Soul Palace, he and Ling Yue fought against Xiao Wuji with their weapons. In the end, the 3 weapons flew out on their own and fought against each other. This time, it was exactly the same as the last time. It was also the 4 people's weapons that flew out to fight against each other. Kid, this is the divine weapons self-recovery. The bone demon reminded. The divine weapons self-recovery? Lu Ming was puzzled. That's right. When they use this kind of divine weapon to fight fiercely, your essence, energy, and spirit will rise to the extreme. The opposing divine weapon will automatically awaken the internal power, thus forming a confrontation. The bone demon explained. Lu Ming was stunned. It was getting more and more like this. Therefore, you can't rely too much on this kind of divine weapon in the future. After all, divine weapons are external objects. They are used by the top geniuses to protect themselves. In the end, you still have to rely on yourself. For example, if you encounter other geniuses who also have this kind of divine weapon, it will form a confrontation. Without the divine weapon, you still have to rely on yourself to fight. The bone demon explained. Lu Ming came to a realization. In the next moment, he felt a terrifying aura locking onto his body. It was the geniuses of the angel race. Mu Yun, now that you have lost your weapon, let's see how you will fight against me with your own ability. The female ten-winged angel's eyes were cold. Holy light burst out and condensed into an angel sword. She slashed it at Lu Ming. Chiu Chiu. Lu Ming's heart moved. Qiu turned into armor and covered his body. A silver spear appeared in his hand and he pierced it out. Boom! Lu Ming collided with the opponent's holy light. He felt a powerful force surging towards him. His body shook violently and he was forced to retreat. The power of the seventh godly emperor layer. A thought flashed across Lu Ming's mind. The female 10-winged angel's cultivation was at the fourth godly emperor layer, but her talent was amazing. She could fight someone who was 3 levels higher than her. This talent was second only to Yin Jioling, a candidate on the universe genius list. Lu Ming and Qiu were no match for her. The female 10-winged angel shouted coldly. She held the holy light divine sword and charged towards Lu Ming again. Is that so? Lu Ming sneered and the Gale Pearl appeared in his hand again. After all, he had more than one type of trump card. Seeing the Gale Pearl, the female 10-winged angel's pupils shrank sharply and she retreated rapidly. Didn't you want to kill me? Now you want to retreat? Lu Ming sneered and stepped forward, chasing after the female 10-winged angel. Chapter 3996. Lu Ming chased after the female 10-winged angel, but on the other side, Ling Yue was in danger. After losing his killing weapon, the male 10-winged angel immediately charged towards Ling Yue. The male 10-winged angel was at the 4th level of the Divine Emperor realm, and his battle prowess could also cross 3 levels, reaching the 7th level of the Divine Emperor realm. As for Ling Yue, she was only at the 2nd level of the Divine Emperor realm. After exchanging 2 moves, Ling Yue coughed out blood and retreated. Ling Yue, how can your strength be so strong? Although Ling Yue was injured and retreated, the 10-winged angel was still incomparably shocked. Ling Yue was only at the 2nd level of the Divine Emperor realm, and her cultivation was 2 levels weaker than his. She was actually able to withstand 2 of his moves, and was only injured, and not seriously injured at that. It was completely possible to cross 4 levels, or even close to 5 levels. How could he not be shocked? In the past, Ling Yue was only ranked 16th in the top 100 quasi-emperor rankings. In terms of talent, she was definitely not stronger than him. And now, he was much weaker than Ling Yue. This woman is a scourge. I'm afraid she will threaten young Master Gabbert in the future. A thought flashed through the male 10-winged angel's mind. His eyes shone with a cold light as he quickly formed a seal with his hands. Then, a sparkling cross appeared. The cross was like a mountain as it pressed down on Ling Yue with terrifying might. Body as an arrow. Ling Yue shouted as her body was completely enveloped by a green divine light. Her body seemed to have turned into an arrow. With his own body as an arrow, the world as a bow. The air shook violently, like the sound of a bowstring. Ling Yue's body turned into an arrow and flew out, colliding with the Holy Cross. A violent explosion rang out, and the Holy Cross made a kacha sound. In the end, with a bang, it exploded, and Ling Yue also revealed her original body. She frantically retreated, blood still flowing out of her mouth. Even though she had used her full strength, she was still no match for her opponent. Ling Yue, since you can't be used by young Master Gabbert, then I can only get rid of you. The male 10-winged angel spoke coldly, wanting to finish off Ling Yue in one go. But at this moment, a sense of crisis suddenly filled his heart. All the hair on his body stood up, and without thinking, he moved dozens of meters to the side. A terrifying wind blade flew past where he was standing just now. Lu Ming made his move. He controlled the gale and sent out a wind blade. After forcing back the male 10-winged angel with a single move, Lu Ming's figure flashed and arrived in front of Ling Yue. Are you all right? Lu Ming asked. I'm fine. Are you that concerned about me? Ling Yue revealed a smile. At this time, she could still smile. If Hua Shui hadn't begged me, I wouldn't have bothered to come. Lu Ming pursed his lips. At this time, the people from the Angel clan had already surrounded Lu Ming and Ling Yue at the bottom of the cliff. This kid still has a great killing weapon in his hands. Be careful. The 2 10-winged angels warned. This kid's great killing weapon isn't very powerful. It's only equivalent to the strength of the 8th godly emperor layer. Let us do it. A few angels stepped forward, and powerful auras erupted from them. These angels were all 8-winged angels, but their cultivation levels were astonishingly high. They had reached the 6th godly emperor layer. In addition, there was also an angel who looked to be in his 30s. He was only a 6-winged angel, but his cultivation level had reached the 7th godly emperor layer. There were a total of 5 angels. These 5 angels had the strength of the 8th godly emperor layer, or even infinitely close to the 9th godly emperor layer. Of course, they were older than the 2 10-winged angels. A moment ago, Lu Ming and the others had used their great killing weapons to fight. Their strength had reached the 9th godly emperor layer, so they couldn't interfere. Now that the great killing weapons were in a deadlock, they could finally interfere. Lu Ming's gaze was grave. These few people gave him a lot of pressure. "Let's attack together and kill Mu Yun first," said the 6-winged angel. He looked like he was in his 30s, but he was actually very old. He had been practicing cultivation for a very long time, so his fighting abilities were incredible. He was holding an angel sword, turned into a beam of light and moved towards Lu Ming. The other 4 strong cultivators also moved towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming controlled the Zephyr Pearl and a strong wind swept out towards the 5 angels. The 5 angels raised their swords at the same time. Dazzling sword lights moved towards the gale. Ear-piercing sounds spread in the air. The holy light swords and the gale kept colliding. In the end, the gale was blocked. Lu Ming's gaze was somewhat grave. When the 5 angel experts joined forces, their combat power was very powerful. Back in the day, when he had destroyed the Flying Stars sect, Lu Ming had used the Zephyr Pearl to easily kill a cultivator of the 8th godly emperor layer. But just now, he had been blocked by the 5 angels. When the 5 angels joined hands, their fighting abilities were very close to the 9th godly emperor layer. Luckily, the energy in the Zephyr Pearl could be drawn out continuously. It didn't consume much of Lu Ming's energy. A gust of strong wind rushed out. Lu Ming immediately drew out a gust of strong wind that swept out. "Follow me closely, let's rush out together," Lu Ming said to Ling Yuwei telepathically. He pulled Ling Yuwei's small hand and followed the gale, rushing forward. "You want to rush out? Impossible." The 5 experts of the angel race roared. Holy light illuminated half of the sky. The holy light divine sword slashed toward Lu Ming and collided violently with the strong wind. This time, the gale was still blocked. However, Lu Ming immediately drew out another gust of gale. Being bombarded by the gale, even the 5 angels couldn't withstand it. They couldn't help but retreat. "Damn it, what kind of killing weapon is this? How can it be so powerful?" roared the 30-year-old angel furiously. He was extremely irritable. Of course, he didn't know that the Zephyr Pearl was completely different from other killing weapons. The Zephyr Pearl stored a peerless cultivator's gale. It was like a storage device. As long as it was drawn out, it would be fine. Lu Ming kept drawing out strong winds. The experts of the angel race kept retreating. "Use the angel battle formation," shouted the 10-winged angel. "Set up the angel battle formation. Set up the formation." Their silhouettes flickered. More than 10 angels, including the 5 who had the strength of the 8th godly emperor layer, joined in. A pillar of holy light soared into the sky and broke through the clouds. More than 10 angels formed a battle formation. Their chi was the same and they fused together. Then, they turned into a gigantic holy light sword and slashed out violently. Boom! That holy light sword was really astonishing. Its power had reached the 9th godly emperor layer. Lu Ming's gale was directly cut apart by the holy light sword. The sword chi didn't stop, continuing to attack Lu Ming. Lu Ming's expression changed drastically. He quickly retreated with Ling Yuwei. At the same time, another gale rushed out from the Zephyr Pearl. Chapter 3997. Lu Ming kept summoning gusts of wind to block the attacks of the angel battle formation. However, the angel battle formation formed by a dozen angels had the strength of the 9th godly emperor layer. It had already surpassed the power of the Zephyr Pearl. Boom, boom, boom. The holy light sword kept colliding with the gusts of wind. Each time it collided, it would break a gust of wind. "Kill this boy in one go," shouted the male 10-winged angel furiously. The holy light sword became even more dazzling as it rapidly approached Lu Ming. "Oh no!" Lu Ming frowned. He kept trying to recall the Bingxian staff. He wanted to use it to block the angel's attack, but the Bingxian staff didn't react at all. It was already entangled with the two great weapons of the angels. If he didn't have the Bingxian staff, should he use the purple copper coffin? But sometimes the purple copper coffin was useless. Lu Ming realized that the purple copper coffin would only react under certain special circumstances. For example, when facing something very ancient, or when facing something related to a primitive god, or when facing the heavenly human race in the heavenly palace, when facing ordinary creatures in the primitive universe, it would sometimes not work. Lu Ming wasn't sure if it would work. If it didn't, it would be even more troublesome. At that moment, Lu Ming's eyes suddenly lit up. Because at this moment, dense runes suddenly appeared on the ground and in the void nearby. Countless runes slithered around like tiny snakes, intertwining together to form a large formation. Bush, bush, bush. The great formation shone. Then, chains suddenly appeared and wrapped around the angels. This time, the angels were caught off guard. They couldn't dodge even if they wanted to. "Break!" Some of the more powerful angels roared. Their divine power erupted, forming a shockwave that dispersed the chains. However, some of the weaker angels were not as strong. They were all entangled by the chains. Then, with a pull of the chains, these angels were sent flying. Following that, more runes appeared in the sky and on the ground, forming an array formation. This time, many sword lights condensed and charged towards the angels. Those with weaker cultivations and insufficient strength were directly killed, dying on the spot. Those who were more powerful, such as a few 8-winged angels and 10-winged angels, kept flashing. At the same time, they swept out their angelic swords, breaking apart the sword light formed by the great array. But this way, the angel battle formation would be broken. Go! How could Lu Ming miss such an opportunity? He immediately summoned a strong gale and rushed in a certain direction. In that direction, there were only 2 angels. These 2 experts of the angel clan were currently blocking the sword light condensed by the formation. Then, they were hit by the gale and couldn't help but retreat. This way, there was a gap in their encirclement of Lu Ming and Ling Yue. Lu Ming brought Ling Yue and rushed out of the gap at an astonishing speed. Damn it, stop them. Crush this formation. The geniuses of the angel race let out a furious roar. Their bodies were like holy suns, emitting a blinding light that blasted the ground and pierced through the void. The runes engraved on the ground and space also exploded and turned into nothingness. However, it was already too late. Lu Ming and Ling Yue had already rushed out of the encirclement. "Come this way." A figure appeared in front of them and called out to Lu Ming and Ling Yue. "It really is this guy." A smile appeared on Lu Ming's face. If the figure in front of him wasn't Dandan, who else could it be? However, why would Dandan save him? Could it be that he had already recognized him? After all, Dandan had followed him for so many years, so he was too familiar with his habits and tone. It wasn't impossible for him to recognize him. Coincidentally, Dandan's direction was exactly the direction where Hua Shui was hiding. Lu Ming didn't hesitate at all. He brought Ling Yue and directly rushed over. Halfway through, he brought Hua Shui and rushed towards Dandan. "Brat, you're the one who's up to no good. You dare to go against our angel race? You're courting death." The angel race also noticed Dandan and immediately roared. Just now, 6 of the angel race's geniuses had died under Dandan's formation. Otherwise, the angel battle formation wouldn't have been broken so easily. Not only did this person dare to attack their angel race, he even dared to kill their genius. This was simply unforgivable. "The ones I'm killing are you birdmen," Dandan clamored, not afraid at all. Back on the dragon race's mother planet, the supreme expert of the angel race had joined forces with the Lord of Heaven of the Heavenly Palace to deal with Lu Ming. In the end, they had forced the experts of the world turtle race to force him to leave. He had long been unhappy with the angel race. He would destroy anyone the angel race wanted to deal with. You're courting death. These angel race geniuses were furious. They flapped their wings and quickly chased after Dandan, Lu Ming, and Ling Yue. You want to chase me? No way, Dandan shouted as he ran. At the same time, more runes appeared on the ground and in the void. The runes were densely packed and filled the void. Then they interweaved into various formations. Some were used to trap enemies, some were used to attack. They turned into countless divine lights and blasted towards the angel race's geniuses. The formation here was obviously something Dandan had spent some time on. The formation that suddenly appeared on the battlefield was set up by Dandan at the last minute. Therefore, the formation here was even stronger. The angel race's geniuses were immediately blocked. The remaining 10 angel race's geniuses attacked with all their strength, destroying the formation on the ground and in the air. They chased forward, but before they could chase for long, more formations appeared. After a few times, Lu Ming, Ling Yue, Hua Shui, and Dandan had already fled without a trace. Damn it! Who is that kid? His formation is so powerful. It seems to be hiding his aura. I can't tell what race he is. Damn it! The remaining angel race's geniuses were furious. This time, they had suffered a double loss. They were unable to take down Ling Yue, nor were they able to kill Lu Ming. On the other hand, their side had lost many geniuses and suffered heavy losses. Inform the others. Even if we have to search through the entire 8 Snake Mountain range, we have to find Mu Yun, Ling Yue, and the others. The male angel race's genius roared. There's no rush. Their divine weapons are still here. It's not too late for us to take away their divine weapons first. An angel race's genius suggested. He looked at the 4 great weapons in the sky that were still burning with greed. At this moment, the 4 weapons of mass destruction in the sky suddenly shook violently and flew away. The angel, the elf king, and the snow ape on top of them all disappeared. Then the ice mystic rod and the bloodied elf king bow pierced through space and disappeared without a trace in a flash. Chapter 3998. The mysterious ice rod and the bloodied elf king bow pierced through the void and disappeared without a trace. The 10 heavens chosen of the angel clan were dumbstruck. Then, their handsome and beautiful faces flushed red. Ah! Damn it, send me a sound transmission. Inform the others. Angry roars rang out one after another. Then, these angel clan geniuses used the dream jade to inform the other angel clan geniuses in the 8 Snake Mountain range. As one of the top 10 races of the prehistoric 10,000 races and a close relationship with the Heavenly Palace, the Angel Clan naturally had a lot of people participating in the Heavenly Soldier examination. Immediately, all the angels in the 8 Snake Mountain range received the news and began to search for Lu Ming and Ling Yue. Under the lead of Dandan, they quickly arrived at a safe place. Brother, thank you for your help. Lu Ming was the first to thank him, pretending not to know Dandan. You're welcome. I just don't like those birdmen. In the past, one of my little brothers was dealt with by these birdmen. You are the enemy of these birdmen, and the enemy of the enemy is a friend. Dandan grinned. A few black lines appeared on Lu Ming's head. This guy had told everyone that he was his little brother, and Lu Ming really couldn't make a move right now. Otherwise, he would have to let Dandan clearly know who was whose little brother. But then again, in order to save you, I offended the angel race. This is a very big risk. If you want to thank me, I won't refuse. Give me 1,000 emperor-level divine pills, and that's enough. Yi Shiwen smiled. You're right. Dandan's voice changed as his eyes moved between Lu Ming and Ling Yue. Lu Ming despised him. Dandan, this guy, had finally revealed his true colors. He was still as thick-skinned and greedy as ever. Moreover, the moment he opened his mouth, it was already 1,000 emperor-level pills. He really could open his mouth. This. Ling Yue stammered. The crux of the matter was that 1,000 emperor-level divine pellets were simply too precious. She simply couldn't take them out. I don't even have 1,000 emperor-level divine pills. How about this? We'll owe you a favor. Take it as repayment for saving our lives. Lu Ming directly wrote an empty check. In terms of being thick-skinned, Lu Ming believed that he was no worse than Dandan. That's not very good. Dandan glanced at Lu Ming from the corner of his eyes. He felt that Lu Ming's behavior was somewhat familiar. How about this? I don't know how to address you, friend. I will remember this favor. If I have the chance in the future, I will definitely compensate you. However, I don't have that many emperor-level divine pills with me right now. Ling Yue said. After all, she was the elf princess, and her skin was not as thick as Lu Ming's. I am known as the Array Ancestor. Dandan clasped his hands behind his back, looking like a peerless expert. But Lu Ming stared at him intently. He really couldn't hold it in any longer. Dandan, this fellow, was starting to put on an act again. Brat, what do you mean by this? You don't want to live anymore, do you? Dandan stared fiercely at Lu Ming. The more he looked at Lu Ming, the more unhappy he became. No, don't misunderstand. My nose was itchy just now, so I couldn't help but sneeze. Lu Ming said. Dandan was still in a bad mood as he fiercely swept a few glances at Lu Ming. In his heart, he was calculating when he would teach Lu Ming a lesson. However, when he thought of Lu Ming's terrifying battle prowess, he cursed in his heart. At this moment, the void broke open, and the ice profound rod and the elf king Bao flew out, respectively flying into Lu Ming and Ling Yue's bodies and disappearing. Dandan's eyes lit up as he watched. Forget it, what kind of person am I? I won't bother with you guys. As for the reward, I can also forget about it. However, I have a condition. Dandan said. What condition? Ling Yue said. Next, how about we cooperate? Let's hunt demons together and obtain demon spirit blood. We can even hunt angels and obtain demon spirit blood from them. Dandan said. Lu Ming knew that Dandan had finally revealed his true purpose. He had taken a fancy to Lu Ming and Ling Yue's battle prowess and wanted to cooperate with them to obtain demon spirit blood. It's your honor to be able to cooperate with me. With my help, the speed at which you hunt evil demons will greatly increase. Dandan said. All right, let's cooperate. Ling Yue was thin-skinned. Dandan had indeed saved them, so she couldn't refuse. Ah, good. Girls are really straightforward, unlike some people. As he spoke, Dandan glanced at Lu Ming unhappily. Lu Ming pretended not to see it. Look at me, I'll find some demons for you right now. Dandan opened his mouth and quickly formed a seal with both hands. Then, endless runes appeared from Dandan's hands. These runes were like small worms that spread through the air before disappearing. What a brilliant rune Dao! Could it be that you are from the world's divine turtle clan? Ling Yue revealed a look of admiration. She was also proficient in the way of runes and formations, but compared to Dandan, the difference was too great. It was like the difference between heaven and earth. In Dandan's hands, the way of runes and formations had simply turned into art. Although she felt that Dandan's words were unreliable, the way of runes and formations was truly unfathomable. In the universe, the most famous rune formation was the world's divine turtle. Little girl, you have some eyesight. Dandan revealed a complacent expression and continued to control the runes. Not long after, Dandan's gaze moved as he said, Got it. There's a demon tribe 130,000 miles to the southeast. It's not very strong, we can deal with it. He found it just like that. Lu Ming was also rather surprised. It seemed that during this period of time, Dandan's rune array Dao had become more and more powerful. Seeing the surprise in Lu Ming's eyes, Dandan became even more proud. He raised his nose to the sky and said, Follow me. The four of them headed towards the southeast. Sure enough, not long after, they discovered a demon tribe. It was only an ordinary tribe, and Lu Ming and the others could easily deal with it. They charged in, and not long after, the demon tribe was destroyed. The demon spirit blood fell into their hands. Following that, they relied on Dandan's formation to easily find demons every time. As expected, the speed at which they obtained demon spirit blood had increased by a lot. The entire 8-Snake Mountain range was filled with slaughter. Those who participated in the assessment were constantly hunting demons. Of course, some people would also die in the hands of demons and become their food. Just like that, half a month passed. 8-Snake Mountain range, where the 8 mountain ranges converged, was the core of the 8-snake mountain range. It was also the location of the 8-snake demon kingdom, where the strongest demons of the 8-snake mountain range were gathered. In a large hall, a young demon sat high up, looking incomparably dignified. "Prince, recently people from the great desolate universe have come to the 8-snake mountain range to train and hunt our race. What should we do?" Below, an old demon reported. Chapter 3999. The young abyss devil above was the prince of the 8-snake devil kingdom, Samorus. Samorus's eyes flashed with murderous intent. "What should we do?" "Of course, we have to kill all the beings of the primitive universe." "Prince, there are some people in the primitive universe who are extremely terrifying. If we send an army to fight them head-on, we might suffer heavy losses, and the kingdoms of the other mountain ranges will take advantage of this." The old abyss devil below expressed his worry. The abyss devils of the dark universe were divided into different forces of different sizes. These forces would fight and attack each other. "Some of them are extremely terrifying?" "I'm afraid they aren't. Don't worry, I'll meet them personally." Samorus smiled faintly. As he spoke, his body began to undergo drastic changes. The fangs in his mouth disappeared, and the skin on his body changed. Finally, the abyss devil wings on his back disappeared. He had turned into a young human with purple hair and was extremely handsome. Moreover, from his aura, it was not the aura of an abyss devil. It was as if he had completely turned into a human. Below, all the demons were stunned. Then, many of them began to tremble. It was a tremor of excitement. "Prince, have you awakened the progenitor bloodline?" The old abyss devil said with a trembling voice. "Yes, I awakened the progenitor bloodline not long ago," Samorus said with a face full of confidence. All the abyss devils below were extremely excited. Some of them were even crying. "God bless our 8-snake devil kingdom. Our 8-snake devil kingdom will definitely rise in the hands of Prince. In the future, all the abyss devils' territories will resound with Prince's name." Some abyss devils shouted excitedly. Among the abyss devils, awakening the progenitor bloodline represented talent. Incomparably terrifying talent also represented potential. However, it was too difficult to awaken the progenitor bloodline. There might not even be one in a trillion abyss devils. In any case, no abyss devil in the 8-snake devil kingdom had ever awakened the progenitor bloodline. Samorus could be said to be the #1 prodigy in the history of the 8-snake devil kingdom. Once the demon progenitor bloodline was awakened, his body would undergo a huge change. He could take the form of a demon or a demon progenitor. The so-called demon progenitor form was just like Samorus's current human form. In the form of a primogenitor, even his aura would change. Unless one's cultivation was much higher than his, it would be very difficult to discover his true identity as a demon. "I will infiltrate the ancient desolate universe and kill some of the strongest cultivators. You gather an army. Gather all the cultivators of the 7th, 8th, and 9th godly emperor layers. Come with me and we'll destroy the ancient desolate universe," said the prince. Samuro announced. "Understood." Below, all the abyssals respectfully accepted the order, their eyes filled with deep reverence. Now that the prince had awakened his primogenitor bloodline, his future was limitless. As long as they followed the prince's footsteps, their future would also be bright. Immediately, almost all of the top experts of the snake demon kingdom were mobilized, moving in all directions. As for Samorus, he personally left the 8-snake demon palace and disappeared into the vast forest. Several days later, a terrifying fluctuation erupted in a valley. After a few breaths, the fluctuation disappeared and a few young people were lying on the ground, lifeless. "Those are the geniuses of the top 10 clans of the ancient desolate universe. How disappointing." Samuro clasped his hands behind his back and left. In another part of the 8-snake mountain range, there was an ordinary demon tribe. At that moment, a dozen people appeared outside the demon tribe. They were from the Sun clan, one of the strongest clans in the ancient desolate universe. They were ranked 31st. "We've already investigated. The strongest cultivator of the demon tribe has the strength of the 8th godly emperor layer. The others are all below the 8th godly emperor layer. We can easily defeat them. Alright, let's attack. A demon tribe should have a lot of spiritual blood. In 2 minutes, if nothing happens, let's attack. The Sun Clan's geniuses communicated secretly. 2 minutes later, the Sun Clan's geniuses' silhouettes flickered and they rushed into the demon tribe. Retreat. However, when the Sun Moon Clan's geniuses rushed into the demon tribe's members quickly retreated as if they knew they were coming. The Sun Clan's geniuses were surprised and then continued chasing the demon tribe. However, a moment later, a terrifying chi appeared around the demon tribe. A tall and sturdy demon tribe's geniuses appeared and surrounded them. Demons of the 9th godly emperor layer. So many demons of the 8th godly emperor layer, we've been fooled. We're finished, shouted the Sun Clan's geniuses. Their faces were deathly pale. They could sense that there were 3 demons of the 9th godly emperor layer and more than 10 demons of the 8th godly emperor layer. Only 3 of them had the strength of the 8th godly emperor layer and none of them had the strength of the 9th godly emperor layer. They had thought that they could easily defeat an ordinary demon tribe, but now they were facing a group of ferocious beasts. Kill them. What delicious meat. Kill them. The demons laughed loudly and started attacking the Sun Clan's geniuses. There were 3 demons of the 9th godly emperor layer and more than 10 demons of the 8th godly emperor layer. The Sun Clan's geniuses couldn't fight back at all. After a few minutes, the Sun Clan's geniuses were all killed. These ancient desolate universe's geniuses are all young. They're rich in blood and chi. They're very nutritious. Make some soup and reward everyone, said a demon of the 9th godly emperor layer. The other evil demons immediately howled in excitement. The same thing happened all over the 8 Snakes mountain range. The 8 Snakes demon kingdom sent a large number of cultivators of the 9th and 8th godly emperor layer to take the exam and kill them. Samo Luo pretended to be a young genius of the ancient desolate universe. He hid among the ancient desolate universe's geniuses and killed the strongest cultivators of the ancient desolate universe. In a short time, the ancient desolate universe's geniuses suffered disastrous losses. In the southeast of the 8 Snakes mountain range, Lu Ming, Dandan, Ling Yue, and Hua Shui were still looking for demons. 160,000 li to the west, there's a demon tribe. Dandan used a deployment spell to find another demon tribe. The 4 of them didn't hesitate and rushed towards the demon tribe. They had already used this method to destroy 9 demon tribes. They had gained a lot. If they continued like this, not only would they be able to complete the exam, but they would also gain a lot. After all, in the Heavenly Palace, merit points could be turned into all kinds of treasures. Chapter 4000. They moved like lightning. It didn't take long for them to arrive hundreds of thousands of miles away. It was an ordinary tribe. It didn't look any different from the tribes Lu Ming and the others had encountered before. There were some demons patrolling the walls of the tribe. Attack! Lu Ming and the others didn't hesitate and charged forward. Swish, swish. Before Lu Ming and Dandan could attack, Ling Yue and Hua Shui had already attacked. A few arrows pierced through the void and killed a few patrolling demons on the city wall. It didn't even cause the slightest movement. After killing the patrolling demons on the city wall, they quietly entered the city. However, as soon as they entered the city wall, Lu Ming and the others felt that something was wrong. Because the city wall was empty. Not a single demon could be seen. Not good, we've been tricked. Retreat. Lu Ming's expression changed. He immediately thought that something was wrong. There was not a single demon in the city. It was most likely an ambush. Dandan, Ling Yue, and Hua Shui were not ordinary people. They immediately thought of this. The 4 of them were about to leave. Boom boom. Powerful auras burst out from all directions. Then, numerous figures of demons appeared and surrounded them. Among them, a few demons were the most terrifying and had the strongest auras. They were existences of the 9th godly emperor layer, and there were 2 of them. In addition, there were at least a dozen 8th godly emperor layer demons. As for the 7th godly emperor layer demons or those below, there were even more. They surrounded the place, blocking all paths of retreat for Lu Ming and the others. Lu Ming and the others' expressions were extremely ugly. Obviously, they had been ambushed. These demon experts had been lying in ambush for a long time. All the demons around them looked at Lu Ming and the others. Only 4 creatures from the primitive universe, and their cultivation is so weak. The strongest one is only of the 4th godly emperor layer? It seems that they are just a few small things. These demons spoke. Many of them looked disappointed. They had been lying in ambush here to catch a big fish. They hadn't expected that they would only meet a few small things. In their eyes, Lu Ming and the others were just small things. The strongest one was Hua Shui, 4th godly emperor layer. Next were Ling Yue and Dandan, 2nd godly emperor layer. Indeed, Dandan's cultivation level had risen rapidly. He had reached the 2nd godly emperor layer, 1 layer higher than Lu Ming. In the eyes of these evil demons, such a cultivation was indeed a small fry. Those people were all cultivators of the 7th godly emperor layer. Kill! A few demons of the 7th godly emperor layer flapped their wings and attacked Lu Ming and the others. To be honest, Lu Ming and the others were not strong enough to deal with the demons at the 7th level of the God Emperor realm. However, they had a powerful weapon. Break to the left. Lu Ming sent a sound transmission to Ling Yue. There were cultivators of the 9th godly emperor layer in front of them and behind them. There were no cultivators of the 9th godly emperor layer on their left and right. It was a good opportunity to break through. In the blink of an eye, a few cultivators of the 7th godly emperor layer arrived in front of Lu Ming and the others. They raised their demon swords and attacked Lu Ming and the others. Gale! Lu Ming immediately took out the Gale Pearl, which summoned a terrifying gale that swept out. A few demons of the 7th godly emperor layer were engulfed by the wind. They gave a horrible shriek and died. When Lu Ming took out the Gale Pearl, they were already rushing to the left. Ling Yue had already taken out the blood-stained Elven King Bao. She poured an endless amount of energy into the Elven King Bao. Bzz, bzz. Ling Yue continuously drew her bow. A few arrows turned into dazzling lights and shot to the left, towards the demons of the 8th godly emperor layer. Fast, really fast. The arrows pierced through the air and arrived in front of the demons of the 8th godly emperor layer in a flash. Fear, danger, these feelings surfaced in the hearts of the demons. The demons of the 8th godly emperor layer roared. Demon chi rose from their bodies and formed a dozen layers of defense in front of them. At the same time, they slashed their demon swords at Ling Yue's arrows. Boom, boom, boom. The demons of the 8th godly emperor layer struck the arrows with their demon swords, but they couldn't stop the arrows. Their demon swords shook violently, and their hands were crushed. Their bones exploded, and their flesh and blood splashed. Their demon swords flew out of their hands. The arrows didn't stop and hit their defenses. It was like a steel nail hitting a piece of tofu. The dozens of layers of demonic chi defenses on their bodies were instantly penetrated. The arrows pierced through their bodies. The demons of the 8th godly emperor layer were dumbstruck. They couldn't believe their eyes. Then, they gave horrible shrieks and their bodies exploded. They died on the spot. Ling Yue's Elven King Bao was as powerful as a cultivator of the 9th godly emperor layer. It was normal for a cultivator of the 9th godly emperor layer to kill a cultivator of the 8th godly emperor layer. After the demons of the 8th godly emperor layer were killed, Lu Ming and the others rushed to the left side of the wall. Lu Ming released a few gusts of wind towards the other demons. Dozens of demons were sucked in by the gusts of wind. You want to die. At that moment, the other demons finally reacted, including the 2 demons of the 9th godly emperor layer. Before, they had underestimated Lu Ming and the others. They had thought that Lu Ming and the others wouldn't be able to cause any trouble. When Lu Ming and the others attacked, they had reacted too slowly. Lu Ming and the others had killed many of their strong cultivators. At that moment, the 2 demons of the 9th godly emperor layer attacked furiously with their swords. The two saber gleams crossed a distance of thousands of miles and slashed toward Lu Ming and Ling Yue. Because Lu Ming and Ling Yue were the ones who had attacked a moment before. Oh no! Lu Ming and Ling Yue's faces darkened. Cultivators of the 9th Godly Emperor layer were terrifying. Even though they had attacked first, they still couldn't escape from the attacks of cultivators of the 9th Godly Emperor layer. As soon as the other party attacked, a terrifying attack directly locked onto them, sealing off their path of retreat and unleashing a sure-kill attack. Ling Yue turned around, pulled her bowstring, and shot an arrow. A green arrow shot towards one of the blade lights. Chapter 4001. Ling Yue shot out an arrow from the elf palace that was stained with blood. However, this arrow of hers could only block a 9th layer Divine Emperor. The other 9th level Divine Emperor expert continued to slash at Lu Ming with his saber. The ice Xian rod appeared in Lu Ming's hand. At this time, it was time to fight with his life on the line, so he naturally couldn't hide it. Boom! The mysterious ice rod rapidly grew in size and swept out diagonally, colliding with the demon blade. Two earth-shattering explosions sounded, and the attacks of both sides collapsed. All the evil demons present were shocked. Lu Ming and Ling Yue's attacks were actually able to block the attacks of the 9th layer Divine Emperor. It was truly terrifying. These are two peerless geniuses of the primitive universe. Killing them is definitely a loss for the primitive universe. That's right, their flesh and blood are definitely great supplements. The two 9th layer Divine Emperor roared and pounced like lightning towards Lu Ming and the others. The 9th layer Divine Emperor realm demons were too fast. Lu Ming and the others couldn't escape even if they wanted to. They could only face them head-on. Boom! Lu Ming controlled the ice Xian rod, which turned into a huge rod the size of a mountain and swept towards a 9th layer Divine Emperor realm demon. As for Ling Yue, she once again pulled the Elf King bow and shot an arrow. The attacks of both sides collided once again, evenly matched. However, Lu Ming and Ling Yue's expressions were very ugly. If this continued, their situation would not be good. Because when Lu Ming and Ling Yue controlled the great killing weapon, although they could erupt with the battle strength of the 9th layer Divine Emperor realm, they couldn't hold on for long. Every attack consumed a lot of energy. After a few moves, they would be exhausted. As for the two demons, they were genuine 9th layer Divine Emperor realm cultivators. Even if they fought for a few hundred moves, it wouldn't be a problem. This was their disadvantage, and also the disadvantage of the great killing weapon. After all, it wasn't their true strength. It was only used at a critical moment to save their lives. It couldn't be used for a long battle. Although it could erupt with terrifying destructive power, it couldn't be used for a long time. They couldn't defeat real cultivators of the 9th Godly Emperor layer. Back when they had destroyed the Flying Star sect, the patriarch of the Flying Star sect had been killed because the pavilion leader of the Moon and Clouds Pavilion had helped him. Lu Ming had suddenly released the strength of the 9th Godly Emperor layer and had caught the patriarch of the Flying Star sect off guard. Then, the pavilion leader of the Moon and Clouds Pavilion had seized the opportunity and killed the patriarch of the Flying Star sect. If Lu Ming were to fight the sect master of the Flying Star sect one-on-one, Lu Ming would definitely die. "You guys hold on, I'll set up the formation." Dandan roared. His body kept moving around. Endless runes flew out from his hands, feet, and even his body. They flew into the void and into the ground. The space between his eyebrows sparkled. There was a fluctuation that Lu Ming was familiar with. That was the fluctuation of the origin ancient characters. Dandan was setting up a formation. "Alright, leave it to us. You set up the formation with all your might." Lu Ming sent a sound transmission to Dandan. At the same time, another powerful gust of wind rushed out from the Zephyr Pearl and rushed towards the demons in all directions. As for Lu Ming, he controlled the mysterious ice rod with all his might and smashed it towards the 9th Godly Emperor layer demon. Ling Yue also used all her strength to activate the Elven King bow that was stained with blood. In the face of such a great battle, Hua Shui couldn't help at all. She could only worry. As for Dandan, he was completely focused on setting up the formation. Boom, boom. Lu Ming and the expert of the 9th Godly Emperor layer exchanged a few blows. Although he blocked the opponent's attack, Lu Ming's face was still somewhat pale. They had already exchanged 4 or 5 moves. Lu Ming felt that the taboo energy had been severely depleted. If this continued, he wouldn't be able to withstand more than a few moves. On the other side, Ling Yue wasn't much better. Although she could hold on for a few more moves, she couldn't hold on for long. I have to hold on. Lu Ming's eyes were filled with determination. He could feel that energy was constantly gushing out from every cell in his body at an extremely fast speed. This was a sign that his potential was being forced out. Potential, when injured, when one's life was in danger, would be forced out. However, when under great pressure, one's potential could also be forced out. For example, right now, Lu Ming was under immense pressure. If they didn't stop the other party, they would die. One could imagine how great the pressure was. The potential in his cells continued to emerge and transform into Lu Ming's own strength. Relying on his strong willpower, Lu Ming exchanged 3 more moves with his opponent. Are you done yet? Lu Ming roared at Dandan. Soon, densely packed runes spread out from Dandan's body as he roared. Even as he spoke, he spat out numerous runes from his mouth. Boom! Lu Ming exchanged another move with the fiend of the 9th Godly Emperor layer. This time, Lu Ming's body shook violently. He almost couldn't hold the ice Xian staff in his hand. The bones in his arm were broken and blood flowed out of his mouth. Lu Ming had consumed a lot of energy. At that moment, even if he controlled the ice Xian staff, his attack power was at its peak. It was difficult for him to block the enemy's attack. Little boy, die! Shouted the fiend of the 9th Godly Emperor layer. He held the fiend's blade in his right hand and used all his strength to slash. His left hand stretched out and a fiend's claw grabbed Lu Ming. Lu Ming used all his strength to control the ice Xian staff and blocked the attack. His body shook violently and he coughed up blood. However, Lu Ming didn't manage to dodge the fiend's claw completely. Even though Lu Ming used the Great Godly Wind technique to dodge, he was still swept by the enemy's claw and half of his body exploded. Shouted Ling Yue. She was extremely worried. She wanted to save Lu Ming, but at that moment, she couldn't protect herself. She was about to run out of strength. Alright. At this moment, Dandan let out an excited roar. Then, countless runes appeared in the sky and turned into a large formation. The deployment spell was dazzling and dazzling. A moment later, the lights turned into golden armor giants. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of golden armor giants appeared. Those golden armored giants appeared out of nowhere and threw themselves at the fiends. The main ones were the 2 fiends of the 9th Godly Emperor layer. The 2 fiends of the 9th Godly Emperor layer were interrupted. Piss off! Shouted the fiend of the 9th Godly Emperor layer who was fighting against Lu Ming. He raised his fiend's blade and looked at the golden armor giants. Slash, slash, slash. The fiend's blade landed on the golden armor giants and made ear-piercing sounds. Surprisingly, it didn't pierce through the golden armor giants. The golden armor giants were sent flying away, leaving marks on their bodies. After the golden armor giants were sent flying, more and more of them threw themselves at the fiends. Even though the golden armor giants didn't have much offensive power, their defensive power was astonishing. They managed to block all the fiends' attacks. On top of that, the hundreds of golden armor giants formed a thick and heavy metal wall, blocking all the fiends. However, the golden armor giants wouldn't attack Lu Ming and the others. There are no advertisements on the website. Chapter 4002. Let's go, this formation won't be able to hold them off for long. Dandan shouted. Without Dandan's shout, Lu Ming, Ling Yue, and the others knew what to do. The 4 of them turned into 4 streams of light and flew into the distance. Damn it, kill! Get out of my way! Those demon experts roared and attacked the golden armor giants with all their strength. Finally, some of the golden armor giants couldn't withstand the attack and were blown apart by the 2 9th layer Divine Emperor Realm experts. However, when these golden armor giants exploded, other golden armor giants rushed up. By the time they exploded, a large number of golden armored giants and rushed out, Lu Ming and the other three had already disappeared. These demon experts had ugly expressions on their faces. They definitely can't go far. Spread the news and let the surrounding 9th layer Divine Emperor Realm experts surround them with all their strength. We absolutely can't let go of the peerless genius of the chaotic universe. In addition, send the news to the prince. I believe the prince will definitely be interested. A 9th layer Divine Emperor Realm demon expert issued an order. Lu Ming and the other three ran with all their strength. After running for an hour, they finally stopped when they were sure that they had completely shaken off the demon experts. Mu Yun, are you all right? Ling Yue looked at Lu Ming worriedly. At this moment, Lu Ming looked very miserable. Half of his body had exploded. His bones and internal organs were exposed. It was very horrifying. Don't worry, I'm fine. Lu Ming smiled. His cells were constantly surging with power. His injuries were recovering at an astonishing speed. One could clearly see that his bones were automatically reconnecting. His wounds were quickly healing, and his spirit had become vigorous. This vitality, kid, you are an unkillable cockroach. No, you are even stronger than a cockroach. Dandan looked at Lu Ming and clicked his tongue in wonder. His eyes were full of shock. You are the cockroach. Lu Ming said unhappily, but in his heart, he was also a little surprised. Dandan, this guy, had not seen him for a while, and his strength had soared a lot. Surprisingly, the deployment spell had been able to block the attack of a cultivator of the 9th godly emperor layer. Although those golden armored giants did not have much offensive power, and Dandan had spent some time setting up the formation, it was still shocking enough. Lu Ming guessed that it had something to do with the Dandan's origin ancient character. Which origin ancient character did Dandan get? It's clearly related to runic arrays. Could it be the word array? Lu Ming pondered. He had once heard from the quantifying character manual that the origin ancient word formation was very mysterious. Once one mastered the origin ancient word formation, they could comprehend endless runes and formations from the word formation. When one cultivated to a high level, any formation would be at their fingertips. They could even set up a great killing formation that could destroy the heavens and the earth. It was incomparably terrifying. If Dandan had the origin ancient word formation, with the strength of the 2nd godly emperor layer, it wouldn't be strange for him to be able to set up such a powerful formation. The four of them rested there for a few hours. After a few hours, Lu Ming's injuries had healed. Lu Ming also realized that his cultivation level had increased, and he was about to break through to the 2nd godly emperor layer. My cells have at least 80% of their potential left. It's enough for a while, thought Lu Ming. His current 80% was on a completely different level from the 80% he had before. After breaking through to the godly emperor layer, the potential in his cells had increased tremendously. When Lu Ming had broken through to the godly emperor layer, he had absorbed 100 spiritual wood hearts and his potential had reached 100%. Previously, when Lu Ming was in the Yunue Pavilion, he took some time to absorb the spirit wood hearts. He had absorbed a total of 3,000 spirit wood hearts before his cells were filled to the brim with potential. 3,000 spiritual wood hearts was 30 times more than before. Now, Lu Ming's potential was astonishing. As long as he continued to stimulate it, his cultivation level would continue to increase. Half a day later, Lu Ming and the other three had recovered to their peak state and were discussing their next plan. There shouldn't be so many demon experts in an ordinary tribe, but so many demon experts have appeared. Could it be that the 8-snake demon kingdom has made a move? Lu Ming asked. It's very likely because it's very difficult for an ordinary demon tribe to dispatch so many experts at once. It's very likely that the 8-snake demon kingdom has made a move. Ling Yue said. Everyone's expression turned serious. If it was the 8-snake demon kingdom, they would have to be careful. If it's the 8-snake demon kingdom, then those tribes will most likely become a trap. Next, we can only look for lone demons to kill. Lu Ming said. Leave it to me, I'll use the formation to investigate again. Dandan was about to make a move and set up a formation to investigate, But at this time, the faces of Lu Ming and the others changed. Because, from the right side, there was a violent sound of breaking through the air. There were strong cultivators approaching, and they were extremely fast. Not good, it's a demon, let's go. Lu Ming's expression was ugly as he shouted. Because, from the right side, a few demons had appeared. Those demons' chi was extremely terrifying. There were 5 demons in total. 3 of them had the strength of the 9th godly emperor layer, and the other 2 had the strength of the 8th godly emperor layer. Ling Yue, Dandan and the others also noticed the demon experts. Without thinking, they turned into streaks of light and rushed to the left. "It's those little brats, don't even think about leaving!" shouted those demons. They chased after Lu Ming and the others extremely quickly. Especially the 3 demons of the 9th godly emperor layer. Their speed was even more astonishing. They were quickly closing the distance between them and Lu Ming and the others. However, the distance between them was at least tens of thousands of li. They were too far away. The demons of the 9th godly emperor layer didn't attack because they were too far away. If they attacked, their power wouldn't be too great. They had to close the distance between them before attacking. However, all of a sudden, numerous runes and symbols appeared before them. Those runes and symbols turned into numerous spirit formations. Then, they condensed into numerous chains that wrapped around them. As it turned out, Dandan had already set up a formation in the air while she was flying. "A trifling deployment spell wants to stop me? Break. Open!" shouted the demons of the 9th godly emperor layer. They raised their claws and tore the chains apart. Not only that, but the deployment spell also broke apart. After all, Dandan had set it up temporarily, so its power was limited. Of course, it couldn't stop 3 demons of the 9th godly emperor layer. But it wasn't completely useless. Their speed was still affected a little, and they slowed down a little. Just this tiny bit was enough. It was difficult for them to catch up with Lu Ming and the others. Shouted the 3 demons of the 9th godly emperor layer furiously. They used all their strength to attack, but more and more deployment spells appeared in the air. None of the deployment spells could stop them, but they could slow them down a little bit. Because of that, the distance between Lu Ming and the demons was at least tens of thousands of li. Chapter 4003. Lu Ming and the others were flying, while Dandan was setting up a deployment spell. Even though the deployment spell had been set up temporarily, it could still block the fiends for a while. Even though it was only for a while, it was enough for Lu Ming and the others to escape. Every time the distance between the 2 sides narrowed, the fiends would be blocked by the deployment spell. Then, the distance between the 2 sides increased again, maintaining a distance of tens of thousands of li. Bastard. The fiends were furious. They were holding fiend blades in one hand and fiend claws in the other. Each time they attacked, the space collapsed. They destroyed Dandan's deployment spell, but in the end, they couldn't catch up with Lu Ming and the others. In the blink of an eye, they were hundreds of thousands of li away from each other. Suddenly, Lu Ming and the others, who were running away, were astonished. They sensed a powerful chi in front of them. At the same time, they sensed a dense demon chi. More fiends appeared in front of them. There were at least a dozen fiends in that group. 2 of them had the strength of the 9th godly emperor layer. Those fiends noticed Lu Ming and the others and charged at Lu Ming and the others. There were fiends in front and behind them, so they could only run to the right. Die! The 2 groups of fiends chased after Lu Ming and the others. There were 5 fiends of the 9th godly emperor layer and 20 fiends of the 8th godly emperor layer. They were terrifyingly strong. So many fiends were attacking together. Dandan's deployment spell was even weaker. Therefore, the distance between the 2 sides was getting closer. Lu Ming and the other 3 looked grave. If this went on, things would be bad. If they were overtaken, they would not be able to fend off the 5 experts of the 9th layer of the Divine Emperor realm. The 2 sides flew for another 100,000 li. The distance between the 2 sides was now less than 10,000 li. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. A few fiends of the 9th godly emperor layer attacked. They slashed out with their fiend blades, which streaked across the sky. In a flash, they crossed 10,000 li and attacked Lu Ming and Ling Yue. Ling Yue was about to use her royal elf bow to block. Don't use your trump cards yet. Save your energy. I'll deal with it, Lu Ming said to Ling Yue. Then, he took out the Gale Pearl and continuously drew out the power within it. Hoo-hoo, the gale within the Gale Pearl continued to rush out, forming a wall of wind behind them. The demon's saber light slashed at the wind wall. Both sides exploded with a violent roar. In the end, the wind wall was forcibly broken. However, as both parties were separated by a distance of nearly 10,000 miles, the attacking power of the other party's saber gleam was not at its peak and had been greatly weakened. Although it had broken through the wind wall, its power had also dissipated. The remaining power was easily blocked by Lu Ming and the rest. Let's see how many moves you can block. Continue attacking. The 5 demons of the 9th godly emperor layer grunted icily and kept attacking. The saber light cut through the air, and the demonic claw tore through the void, pressing down on Lu Ming and the others. However, Lu Ming continued to draw the power within the Gale Pearl to block the attacks of the demon rankers. However, as the distance between the two sides shortened, it became more and more difficult for the Gale Pearl to block the other side's attacks. There was always a saber light that broke through the Gale wall and smashed towards Lu Ming and the others. The situation was becoming more and more disadvantageous for Lu Ming and the others. At this moment, the eyes of Lu Ming and the others moved, because another group of creatures had appeared in front of them. But this time, it wasn't a demon, but an angel. A group of angels, and most of them were acquaintances of Lu Ming and the others. They were precisely the group of angels that had besieged Ling Yue earlier. Of course, there were more people here. There were more than 20 of them. It was obvious that 2 groups of angels had gathered together. When these angels saw Lu Ming and the others, their eyes immediately burst with killing intent. It's Ling Yue and that Mu Yun. We've met them again. This time, don't let them escape. Attack with all your might. These angels' killing intent surged, and they were about to charge towards Lu Ming and the others, but they were immediately stunned, because they discovered that after Lu Ming and the other 3 saw them, not only did they not escape, they even rushed towards them. What was going on? Seeing that they didn't leave, they even rushed towards them. Wasn't this courting death? But immediately, their expressions changed. This was because they had also discovered the demon rankers chasing after them. They finally knew why Lu Ming and the others were rushing towards them. It was because Lu Ming and the others were being chased by the demon army, and they were using them as shields. Damn it. Let's go. An angel roared, and all the angels turned around and left. They could naturally feel how terrifying the demons behind them were. There were a total of 5 demon kings of the 9th layer of the God Emperor realm. Although they had the strength of the 9th layer of the God Emperor realm, they were definitely not a match for these demons. How could they care about killing Lu Ming and the others? Brothers from the angel clan, why are you running away? Stop. Let's destroy these damn demons together, shouted Lu Ming. He quickly chased after the angels. Who's your brother? We're your enemies. Damn it. Hurry up and piss off, shouted many angels furiously. But Lu Ming and the others had finally found some demons as shields. How could they leave so easily? Only by dragging the angels down with them would they have a chance to escape. The 3 groups of people were running at full speed. Lu Ming and the others were only a few thousand li away from the angels. Die! Some of the stronger angels attacked Lu Ming and the others furiously. Many angel divine swords slashed towards Lu Ming and the others, but Lu Ming and the others blocked them. Dandan, don't pay attention to the demons behind us. Go ahead and block the angels. Drag them down with you, said Lu Ming to Dandan. However, Dandan's eyes shone brightly. How do you know my name? Who are you? Dandan stared at Lu Ming. Nestle. Lu Ming scolded himself. He had let it slip out of his mouth in a moment of desperation. He was the one who came up with the name Dandan. Not many people would call him by that name. Dandan must be suspicious. But now was not the time to explain. I'll explain to you when we escape. Hurry up and attack. Lu Ming transmitted his voice to Dandan. Hee. Dandan gave a few sinister laughs and cast a few meaningful glances at Lu Ming. Then, countless runes emanated from its body, surging into the void and disappearing. The three groups of people fought a battle of wits and courage. In the blink of an eye, they had flown thousands of li away. Block them! At this moment, Dandan shouted and formed a seal with both hands. Suddenly, a large array appeared in front of the angels. This formation condensed countless shining golden sabers and slashed at the angels' faces. Chapter 4004. Dandan condensed a gigantic spell in front of him and slashed at the angels. The angels could only do their best to resist. Naturally, their speed was greatly affected. With such a delay, a few thousand li was covered by Lu Ming and the others in the blink of an eye. In the blink of an eye, Lu Ming and the others caught up with the angels. Because they didn't deliberately stop the demons, the distance between them and the demons was shortened rapidly. There were only a few thousand li left. A few thousand miles was simply too close for them. Their attack power could also be unleashed to its peak. Die, all of you! The 5 demons of the 9th godly emperor realm were the first to attack. 5 rays of light shot out from the devil's saber, aiming at Lu Ming and the angels. The demons didn't care whether Lu Ming had any enmity with the angels or not. To the demons, as long as it was a creature from the ancient desolate universe, it deserved to die. Because the creatures from the ancient desolate universe had come here to kill demons. Besides, demons hated the angels even more. Because the angels and the heavenly palace were very close, the angels had contributed a lot to the extermination of the demons. Their enmity with the demons was also great. A few thousand li away, the demons of the 9th godly emperor layer were extremely terrifying. Lu Ming took out the mysterious ice rod. He had no choice. At this distance, the Zephyr Pearl couldn't block the attacks of the demons of the 9th godly emperor layer. Only the mysterious ice rod could do it. Boom! The mysterious ice rod swept out and blocked the demon's blade. At the same time, Ling Yue also took out her bloodied elven royal bow and shot an arrow to block the demon's blade. Among the angels, the 2 10-winged angels who had surrounded Ling Yue before had no choice but to use their ultimate weapons. One of them took out an angel sword, the other a basic angel crown to block the demon's blade. There was another angel who didn't use his ultimate weapon because he was an 8-winged angel. He didn't control any ultimate weapon, but his cultivation level was extremely high. He had the strength of the 7th godly emperor layer. An 8-winged angel of the 7th godly emperor layer could easily compete with a demon of the 9th godly emperor layer. The man slashed out with his sword, blocking a demonic saber light. The attacks of the 5 fiends of the 9th godly emperor layer were all blocked. However, with this, the distance between the 2 sides would be even closer. A large number of demons rushed over. Those who had the strength of the 8th godly emperor layer also attacked. 20 demons of the 8th godly emperor layer attacked. Their attacks were terrifying. They surrounded Lu Ming and the angels. Like this, Lu Ming's group, as well as the angels, couldn't leave even if they wanted to. They were blocked by the demons. A fierce battle broke out between the 2 sides. Kill! The 5 9th-level God Emperor demons were extremely powerful. They charged toward Lu Ming and the angels. Damn it! Damn it! The angels roared angrily. They were so aggrieved that they wanted to die. They didn't expect that not only would they fail to deal with Lu Ming's group, but they would also be dragged down by Lu Ming's group. They were furious, but there was nothing they could do. At that moment, in order to protect themselves, they could only do their best to resist. Lu Ming, Ling Yue, the 2 10-winged angels, and the 8-winged angel who had the strength of the 7th godly emperor layer. The 5 of them could temporarily release the strength of the 9th godly emperor layer. They blocked the 5 demons of the 9th godly emperor layer. Dandan, Hua Shui, and the other angels were fighting against the demons. With Hua Shui's cultivation level, it was very dangerous in such a battle, but luckily, Dandan was there to help her. These talismans are for you. Dandan took out a talisman and put it on Hua Shui's body. Hua Shui's body was covered with talismans, and her strength and speed increased. That was the only way she could protect herself. As for Dandan, talismans appeared all over his body. He looked like the incarnation of talismans. He kept flickering and the demons couldn't touch him for a while. However, the angels weren't so lucky. Among the angels, there were strong and weak ones. Some of the stronger ones were barely able to protect themselves. Some of the weaker ones were directly killed by the demons, and their blood scattered in the air. For a moment, at least 7 or 8 of my angels were killed. This made the angels even angrier. However, even if they pulled the angels into the water, they were still at a disadvantage. They weren't a match for them. Lu Ming's expression was grave. If this continued, it would be disadvantageous for them. This was because he, Ling Yuwei, and the 2 10-winged angels of the angel clan could release the strength of the 9th godly emperor layer for a short period of time, but they couldn't hold on for too long. Continuing the battle was very disadvantageous for them. Lu Ming thought of this, and the angels naturally thought of this as well. Yin Ford and the others are nearby. Quickly send a message to them and tell them to hurry over and support us. A 10-winged angel roared and used his full strength to block a few demons, giving one of the angels a chance to send a message. That angel seized the opportunity and sent out a message. Dandan, I'll rely on you to escape later. Lu Ming transmitted to Dandan. Don't worry, I've already started preparing. Do I need you to mention it? Replied Dandan. He was constantly setting up a formation. Boom. Lu Ming's taboo force kept pouring into the Bingxian rod. The Bingxian rod erupted with terrifying power. Terrifying cold currents kept gushing out, freezing the void. The surrounding demons did not dare to get close to it. Lu Ming used the mysterious ice rod to exchange a few blows with a cultivator of the 9th godly emperor layer. However, Lu Ming sensed that a lot of forbidden strength had been consumed. At most, he could use about 5 more moves. Little boy, with the strength of the 1st godly emperor layer, you can forcibly use the strength of the 9th godly emperor layer. Let's see how many moves you can use. Demon Claw. The demon of the 9th godly emperor layer looked ferocious. He stretched out his sharp claws, which were as big as a small mountain, towards Lu Ming. He wanted to kill Lu Ming in one strike. Lu Ming held the piercing ice mystic rod and lashed it out horizontally, shattering the void and colliding with the devil's claws. Another explosion spread in the air. A demon of the 7th godly emperor layer didn't have time to dodge and was frozen. Then, the chi behind him smashed his body into pieces. The other demons were scared and didn't dare get close to the battle between Lu Ming and the demon of the 9th godly emperor layer. In fact, when the other cultivators of the 9th godly emperor layer fought, the demons and angels didn't dare get close. The two sides exchanged a few more attacks. The situation was getting worse for Lu Ming and the angels. Dandan, are you done? Lu Ming asked Dandan telepathically. Almost. Wait a little longer, replied Dandan. He continued setting up the formation. At that moment, in the distance, the sound of whistling wind could be heard. Holy lights illuminated the sky. The angels had arrived. Chapter 4005. Another group of angel tribe members had arrived. There were more than a dozen angels in this group, and there were many experts among them. Among them, there were 2 who had the battle strength of the 9th level of the Divine Emperor realm. As expected of the top 10 races, there were too many geniuses, and the number of people participating in the Heavenly Soldier examination was also very high. The helpers are here. The angels were overjoyed. With the addition of this group of fresh troops, they were saved. Quick, help us block these demons and help us charge out. The male 10-winged angel sent a sound transmission to the angels. They had no intention of tangling with the demons. They planned to rush out first and leave Lu Ming and the others here to wait for death. You dare to plot against us? I will make you die miserably and become food for the demons. These angels thought fiercely in their hearts. But immediately, their expressions changed. This was because a dense demonic aura was coming from another direction. Over there, another group of demons was charging over. Obviously, the battle here had alarmed the surrounding demons. Damn it! These angels were shocked. Quick, come and help us rush out. The male angel roared. At this moment, all right, Dandan called out. Suddenly, endless runes spread out, and an array appeared beneath Lu Ming, Ling Yue, and Hua Xue's feet. The moment this array appeared, it was like a piece of clothing that stuck to their bodies. Then, one figure after another appeared around them. For example, dozens of Lu Ming suddenly appeared around Lu Ming. They looked exactly the same as Lu Ming, and even their auras were exactly the same. Dozens of Lu Ming suddenly appeared at the scene. Ling Yue, Hua Xue, and Dandan were the same. Dozens of figures also appeared around them. Swish, swish, swish. In the next moment, dozens of figures rushed out in all directions. Those demons were all dumbfounded. This was because the dozens of figures seemed to be real. Even their auras seemed to be real. It was impossible to tell whether they were real or fake. Kill. These abyss devils could only attack randomly. One figure after another was defeated by their attacks. However, among the several tens of silhouettes, there were always some that managed to rush out. As soon as these figures rushed out, they fled in all directions. Damn it! Hurry up and chase after those brats. Leave these angels to us, said a demon of the 9th godly emperor layer to the demons behind him. The abyss devils that came later scattered and chased after Lu Ming and the others. As for the demons from before, they attacked the angels with all their might. The demons had 5 cultivators of the 9th godly emperor layer, and now they were all fighting against the angels. The angels were under even more pressure. Fortunately, the angels had new reinforcements. Even so, for the time being, they could only barely protect themselves. Their plan to rush out was ruined. They were so angry that they nearly vomited blood on the spot. Their original plan was to rush out and leave Lu Ming and the others behind. But now, the situation was the complete opposite. They were the ones who were left behind. The ones who rushed out were Lu Ming and the others. It could only be said that reality was very cruel. They could only fight back with all their might. Lu Ming and the others didn't care about that. After they rushed out of the encirclement, their real bodies gathered together and flew in the same direction. The demons that came later also had many strong cultivators. There were 3 cultivators of the 9th godly emperor layer. There were 15 of them of the 8th godly emperor layer, and almost 100 of them below the 8th godly emperor layer. There were so many of them that they quickly got rid of the fake bodies. Then, they chased after Lu Ming and the others' real bodies. There's no end to this. Lu Ming and Ling Yue's expressions were very ugly. It was obvious that the army of the 8 Snakes Demon Kingdom had been mobilized. There were many strong demons in this area. It wouldn't be easy to escape. Unfortunately, my cultivation level is still too low. If I could become stronger and break through to the 2nd godly emperor layer, I wouldn't need to fear these demons, thought Lu Ming. Even though he was under great pressure, breaking through to the 2nd godly emperor layer wasn't going to be easy. Both sides started a chase again. It was just that the demons behind them had changed. You guys go first. I'll stay and stop them, Lu Ming suddenly said. He planned to stay and fight with these demons to see if he could take the opportunity to break through to the 2nd godly emperor layer. But doing so was very dangerous. If he couldn't break through, he might stay here forever. But if he didn't do this, he would never be able to shake off the demons. If he was caught, it would be equally dangerous. I'll stay too, Ling Yue said. If you want to stay and fight, then I'll stay and accompany you. Dandan's gaze turned as he said, I'll stay too. Hua Xue also said, Hua Xue, you go first. Wait for us in front. Ling Yue shook her head. That's right, Hua Xue, you go first. Lu Ming also said. To be honest, with Hua Xue here, they couldn't use it. Instead, they had to take care of her. Hua Xue gritted her teeth and clenched her fists tightly. However, she knew very well in her heart that amongst the 4 of them, she was the weakest. If she stayed here, she would indeed be in the way. It would be even more disadvantageous for Lu Ming and Ling Yue. In her heart, she hated herself for being too weak. Her cultivation was clearly the highest, but her strength was the weakest. She even needed others to take care of her. Hua Xue, hurry up and leave. This is an order, Ling Yue said. Alright, then you guys be careful. I'll inform the rest of the elves. You guys must live. Hua Shui gritted her teeth and continued to fly forward. As for Lu Ming and the other two, they stopped and turned to face the demons that were chasing after them. Dandan, you should still have some trump cards, right? Use them all. Lu Ming said to Dandan. Lu Ming knew this guy too well. If he didn't have the slightest bit of confidence, would he have taken the initiative to stay? Hee, as expected, it's you. You know me best. Dandan chuckled and glared at Lu Ming. Obviously, he had already guessed Lu Ming's identity. Following that, 2 bright red talismans appeared in Dandan's hands. I spent a lot of effort to obtain these 2 talismans, and their one-time use. Dandan said with a pained expression, I'll give it to you now. If you use it on your divine armament, it will allow your divine armament to awaken a portion of its power. There's such a good thing. Lu Ming and Ling Yuwei's eyes lit up. Be it the ice mystic rod or the blood-stained elven king bow in Ling Yuwei's hands, they were all extremely high-level treasures. Their powers were far more than that. They were only in hiding and needed Lu Ming and the rest to activate them. However, with Lu Ming and Ling Yuwei's cultivation, they could only unleash a small portion of their power. Most of their power was hidden. As for these 2 runes, they could unleash a trace of power. They could definitely increase the power of the great killing weapon by a lot. Chapter 4006. Lu Ming and Ling Yuwei didn't hesitate and put the talisman on their weapons. As soon as the seal was placed on the divine weapon, it melted like ice and turned into a ball of seal, covering the divine weapon. In a flash, Lu Ming sensed some strength emerge from the depths of the ice Xian staff. The ice Xian staff was really releasing some strength. At the same time, Ling Yuwei's royal bow was the same. On the side, Dandan looked pained because the talisman was a one-time use item. If he sold it, it would be priceless. But it was gone just like that. He quickly calculated in his heart how he would get back the losses from Lu Ming and Ling Yuwei. At that moment, the fiends were approaching. Die! Die, die, die! Shouted the fiends, especially the 3 leaders of the 9th godly emperor layer. They attacked one after another. 3 fiend blades streaked across the sky towards Lu Ming and the others. BZZ. Lu Ming's ice Xian staff shook violently. Lu Ming's forbidden strength kept pouring into the ice Xian staff. The ice Xian staff quickly became bigger and bigger. But Ling Yuwei's attack was even faster than his. An arrow pierced through the sky and shot towards one of the fiends of the 9th godly emperor layer. The arrow and the fiend's fiend blade collided. An explosion shook the sky and the fiend's blade shook violently. The fiend's arm shook violently and blood appeared on it. He was shaken violently and moved back 1,000 li. The 2 fiends of the 8th godly emperor layer coughed up blood. Ling Yuwei's arrow had injured a cultivator of the 9th godly emperor layer. It really worked. Ling Yuwei was overjoyed. As expected, the royal bow with blood on it released some strength. In addition to her own strength, her attack power had already surpassed ordinary fiends of the 9th godly emperor layer. At that moment, Lu Ming's attack arrived. The gigantic Xian ice rod collided with the 2 demons of the 9th godly emperor layer. The 2 demons' blade lights broke apart, and they were both pushed back. Lu Ming was overjoyed that he had defeated 2 demons of the 9th godly emperor layer in one move. Do it in one go. Lu Ming sent a sound transmission to Ling Yuwei, then pounced forward. The ice profound rod continuously smashed out, and 3 rod shadows crushed the void, pressing towards the demon rancor. Under the mysterious ice staff, the void kept exploding, and a terrifying chill spread out. The mysterious ice staff had not yet landed, but a terrifying chill had already enveloped the area. Some of the weaker demons were immediately covered by a layer of ice. Those who had the strength of the 7th godly emperor layer and below were frozen to death. Retreat, retreat. Some demons of the 8th and 7th godly emperor layer shouted furiously and tried to block the ice. The 3 demons of the 9th godly emperor layer shouted furiously and released demon chi. They used all their strength to attack. 3 huge saber glows broke through the icy intent and landed on the mysterious ice rod. Boom, boom, boom. There were 3 explosions. Lu Ming's body shook violently, and he couldn't help but move back. The mysterious ice rod kept shaking. However, the three demons weren't any better. Even though they had defeated Lu Ming, they had also moved back a few steps. And that was only Lu Ming's attack. When Lu Ming attacked, Ling Yue also attacked. Her arrow was aimed at one of the cultivators of the 9th godly emperor layer. When the demon and Lu Ming exchanged blows, a terrifying arrow shot towards the demon. It matched perfectly with Lu Ming's attack. As soon as the demon retreated, Ling Yue's arrow arrived. The demon roared furiously and did his best to block. However, he had just exchanged blows with Lu Ming. His chi was unstable and he couldn't use his full strength to block the attack. He could only use 50% of his strength. 50% of his strength couldn't block Ling Yue's arrow. Bang! Bang! A series of explosions rang out. The arrow broke through the demon's layers of defense and pierced through his chest. The demon screamed miserably as a hole appeared in his chest. However, he wasn't dead yet, but he was severely injured. All right. Lu Ming and Dandan were overjoyed. Their plan was useful. Continue. Lu Ming spoke, activating the Bingxian rod and striking out again. He had to hurry, because the runes given by Dandan wouldn't take too long. Boom. The mysterious ice rod turned into a few shadows and smashed down again. Block it. Damn it, block it. The remaining two demons of the 9th godly emperor layer roared and attacked with all their might. The other demons of the 8th and 7th godly emperor layer also attacked together. As for the heavily injured 9th godly emperor layer demon, he hid behind and didn't dare to attack. He was afraid that Ling Yue would shoot him to death. There was another series of explosions. Lu Ming's mysterious ice rod was blocked. However, Ling Yue seized the opportunity and shot another arrow. This arrow was aimed at another demon of the 9th godly emperor layer. After blocking Lu Ming's attack, the 9th stage god emperor realm demon was also unable to block Ling Yue's attack. An arrow pierced through his body and he was severely injured. It had to be said that the vitality of demons was very strong, especially those of the 9th godly emperor layer. Ling Yue's arrow was very terrifying. A destructive energy exploded from the inside. However, their injuries were also very serious. Let's go. The remaining demons were terrified. The only one who wasn't injured, the 9th godly emperor layer demon, roared and turned around to leave. They knew that they couldn't deal with Lu Ming and the others. If they continued fighting, they would be in danger. They had to leave first, meet up with the other demons, and then chase after Lu Ming and the others. You still want to leave? Lu Ming's eyes were cold. He used the Great Divine Wind technique and his body flickered, attacking the demons. Lu Ming wouldn't miss the spirit blood of these demons. Now that there was such a good opportunity, Lu Ming wouldn't let it go so easily. At the same time, the mysterious ice rod turned into 3 shadows and smashed down. The 3 stick shadows were still able to maintain an extremely strong attacking power. If there were more stick shadows, the attacking power would decrease. Rumble. The sky and earth shook violently. The mysterious ice rod pressed down with unparalleled force. Work together, roared a 9th godly emperor layer demon. All the demons gathered together and went all out. Dozens of demons' demonic chi condensed and turned into a shocking sword light. It violently slashed out, blocking the mysterious ice rod. However, Ling Yue attacked again. An arrow shot towards the last demon of the 9th godly emperor layer who wasn't injured. But that demon was very cunning. When he blocked Lu Ming's attack, his silhouette flickered and he retreated behind the other demons. Ling Yue's arrows pierced through 3 fiends of the 8th godly emperor layer and killed them, but the fiend of the 9th godly emperor layer dodged them. Then, he flapped his wings and abandoned the other demons to escape alone. Chapter 4007. That uninjured demon of the 9th godly emperor layer had abandoned the other demons and escaped on his own. He was extremely fast. In just a few flashes, he had already covered a distance. But at that moment, a young man appeared in front of him. If it had been someone from the 8th Snake Demon Kingdom who had participated in the meeting of the princes of the 8th Snake Demon Kingdom, they would have recognized that young man immediately. At that moment, Seimo Luo had turned into a human. Even his demon chi was concealed. He looked like a human. The cultivator of the 9th godly emperor layer had seen Samo Luo before, but he had never seen Samo Luo in human form. Therefore, he didn't recognize Samo Luo. When he saw Samo Luo, he thought Samo Luo was from the desolate universe. Immediately, the demon of the 9th godly emperor layer shouted furiously, "Little boy, piss off." At the same time, he grabbed Samo Luo with his claws. Samo Luo's eyes glittered coldly. He threw a punch at the demon's claws. Boom! Strong chi spread everywhere. The demon of the 9th godly emperor layer's expression changed drastically. His claws made cracking sounds and his bones broke. He was pushed back. At that moment, Ling Yue attacked again. She shot an arrow at the demon. This time, he couldn't dodge it. The arrow pierced through his body and he was severely injured. Swish! Samo Luo's silhouette flickered. He threw himself at the demon. His claws were like steel nails. They pierced through the demon's head. The demon died on the spot. On the other side, Lu Ming was holding the Xian ice staff. Nobody could stop him. His staff slammed into the demons one after another. Even a demon of the 9th godly emperor layer who had been severely injured died at Lu Ming's hands. When Samo Luo saw that, his eyes glittered with murder. He also threw himself at the demons. His claws were like rainbows. Each time he attacked, a demon was killed. The third demon who had been severely injured also died at Samo Luo's hands. Lu Ming and the other two surrounded the demons. The remaining demons weren't a match for them. In the blink of an eye, most of them were killed. The remaining ones wanted to escape, but Samo Luo chased after them and killed them all. Phew! Lu Ming took a deep breath. The danger was finally over. Lu Ming, Ling Yue, and Dandan walked toward Samoros. "Brother, thank you for your help." Lu Ming and the others cupped their fists in gratitude. "There's no need to stand on ceremony. We're all from the primitive universe, so it's only natural for us to fight against the demons," said Samo Luo smiling. He glanced at Lu Ming and the others and said, "You're really strong. You only have the strength of the 2nd godly emperor layer. Surprisingly, you defeated such a strong group of evil demons. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I would have never believed it." What Samoras said was true. He had already arrived while they were fighting with the demons, hiding in the dark to observe. He discovered that Lu Ming and Ling Yue's attack power was simply astonishing, causing him to be shocked. Therefore, he originally wanted to take action to deal with Lu Ming and the others, but he changed his mind at the last moment and took action to deal with the defeated demons. Dealing with those demons was to gain the trust of Lu Ming and the others. As long as he could gain the trust of Lu Ming and the others, it would be much easier to deal with Lu Ming and the others. "Brother, you're too polite. It's just luck," Lu Ming said simply out of politeness. "I am Lu Feng. How should I address you?" Samoros said. "Don't you know us?" Lu Ming's eyes flashed as he felt a little puzzled. It was normal for them to not know him and Dandan, but it was rare for them to not know Ling Yue. After all, they could see Ling Yue's portrait through the dream jade. However, Lu Ming only had a trace of doubt in his eyes and did not pay too much attention to it. After all, the great desolate universe was too big, and there were countless geniuses. It was normal for some people to not care about the outside world and focus on cultivation. Lu Ming, Ling Yue, and Dandan reported their names. "Why don't the three of you work together? How about we hunt demons together?" Samoros said. Lu Ming and the other two were moved. Samoros's attack just now was very powerful. They could see that although Samoros's cultivation was only at the 6th layer of the Divine Emperor realm, his battle prowess was astonishingly strong. Previously, when he had fought head-on with the 9th layer of the Divine Emperor realm, he had actually injured the 9th layer of the Divine Emperor realm in one move. This was his own true battle prowess, and he did not rely on external objects. If Samoros joined them and cooperated with them, then even if they encountered demons in the future, they would be able to relax a lot. "Lu Ming, you have to be careful of this Lu Feng. I feel that there's something wrong with him." At this time, Bone Demon reminded him. "No, what's wrong?" Lu Ming asked. "I can feel a trace of demonic chi from his body." Although he hid it very well, there was still a trace of it leaked out. You can't feel it, but you can't hide it from my senses. Bone Demon said. Hidden demonic chi? Could it be that he carried some kind of treasure with him that had demonic chi? Or perhaps he cultivates some kind of cultivation technique that can absorb demonic chi. Lu Ming said to Bone Demon as thoughts flashed through his mind. I don't know about that. Just be careful. Bone Demon said. Lu Ming nodded silently in his heart, but he did not suspect that Samoros was a demon. After all, in the great desolate universe, there were some treasures that contained demonic chi, or some strange mysterious techniques that could absorb and refine demonic chi. However, he still raised his vigilance and paid attention to Samoros. All right, with Brother Lu joining us, it will definitely be easier for us to deal with the demons. Ling Yue nodded and smiled. Lu Ming and Dandan did not object. Then let's go meet up with Hua Shui first, Ling Yue said. Immediately, they flew in the direction Hua Shui had left. On the way, Samoros's gaze would occasionally sweep across the ice-profound rod in Lu Ming's hands and the Elven King's bow in Ling Yue's hands. The reason why he hadn't made a move yet was because he was afraid of Lu Ming and Ling Yue's two divine weapons. After all, he had clearly seen the power of the two divine weapons just now. Yes, Lu Ming and Ling Yue had yet to put away their two divine weapons. It wasn't that they didn't want to put them away, but that they couldn't put them away yet. This was because the runes on them had yet to disappear. The rune that Dandan had given him had a time limit. Before the time was up, it wouldn't disappear. If the rune didn't disappear, Lu Ming and the others wouldn't be able to put away their divine weapons. However, if he didn't activate it in his hand, it wouldn't consume any energy, so it wouldn't be a problem. As Lu Ming and Ling Yue flew, they recovered the energy they had expended earlier. Not long after, they found Hua Shui anxiously waiting in front of them. Seeing that Lu Ming and the others were fine, Hua Shui was overjoyed. Princess, I've already sent a message to the rest of the elves. However, they're quite far away from us. I'm afraid it won't be easy for them to come and meet us. Hua Shui said. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.